everybody, it's Jenny and I am here with Natalie and we
Hi.
have some fun bonus content for you. So in the olden days, way back, I made a tutorial that was called 3 Totes from 1 Charm Pack. And we made these darling little tote bags. Well then this last year, we started carrying Sallie Tomato's
And
things.
she has such great products.
And so many different things, all the different loops and rings and, and fixtures
Beautiful
and closures
hardware,
and all kinds of hardware.
Cork, faux leather.
And I thought it was time for our tote bag to get an upgrade.
Oh, I agree.
To come into the 2000s, if you will.
That's right.
Right?
Right.
And so I want to show you this. This is so fun. So this little tote right here is what we're talking about. A little bigger. Look at the fabulous little rings.
Hooks.
It's got
cute
a
little
tassel,
which I think we're going to talk about
even
how to
better.
make that, aren't we?
We are going to make it. And better, even a cork bottom. Now she has faux leather.
They just look,
cork.
It looks so much more professional.
I have to say, I don't really ever carry a fabric purse. You know, I use pouches and things like that, but as a purse. But once we upgraded this and gave it its new look.
Using this to tote projects around or bring home your groceries.
Right.
That'd be great.
So we're going to talk about making this tote. We have 2 smaller ones as well that we've also gussied up a little bit.
So this is more in line with what the original tote.
Same size. We've got some canvas down here and canvas straps. We put the rings on the straps.
Oh, it's so
and we just, you know, all kinds of fun things. And so you can make the small one, the medium one, the big one. I used to make these for my kids to carry all the time. They had a little tiny Charm Pack purse with a little tablet in and a little pencil in case, you know, they needed to write something.
Little library bags,
lunch
sacks. You can insulate them, all kinds of things.
You can carry your polyfill in them if you need to.
We wanted it to stand up and look pretty.
It does make it look pretty.
It's so full of all the fun things you can imagine.
This is probably
what's
my favorite
inside.
thing. This little tassel. It's interesting how just a few little things and it really updates the tote. So we're going to show you how to make this, and you're going to need a packet of 5-inch squares.
And
you won't use all of them.
Arcadia by Pippa Shaw for Figo Fabrics.
Darling little charms. You're going to need about a half a yard for your bottom, and these are different.
3/4.
These are different, and also here's our cork, and the cork comes like this. And it comes in an 18 by 25-inch piece, so you've got plenty. You could make many, many bags out of this, and that's fun. You're going to need your rings, your little tassel kit. You're going to need about, how much for the lining? What do we say? About 3/4 of a yard for the lining if you make this big one.
So the 3/4 yard includes your lining your handles.
Okay.
That would do both of those things.
Because we did our handles out of the same fabric that we did our lining.
Yes.
And of course, that is entirely up to you. It's whatever you want to do.
And then if you wanted to use a different fabric, you'd need about a half a yard. If you need a half a yard of cork or an accent if you wanted to use something coordinating that was a different color.
100%. All right, so let's clear this off and show them how we did it, because I made some awesome step outs.
And don't forget to get, if you want the hardware rings, that would be another, I think they're sold separately in a kit.
Oh yeah, they are.
Yeah.
And you'll get those. And let me put these down here, because as lovely as these are, they are not the new modern Charm Tote.
Nope, not today. There's a couple other things that would be super helpful, like the this E6000 glue.
Well, if you're making the tassel, the E6000, and then here's the little
pinking shears, and maybe
here's
like
the
a
little
marking
package
pencil
that has our little these little rings come in it. Not this fabric.
It doesn't come with fabric. We just stuck that in there.
Yeah, let me show you what it comes. It comes like this. So you get the little 1.5-inch gunmetal square rings. Do you know what, guys, though?
They're so pretty, though.
They're beautiful, but I often go to the Goodwill and I buy an old purse just to get the rings I want.
Oh,
because there are really...
Or if there's something that you love on a purse you already have, maybe it's worn out, you could save that hardware and use it in a different project.
100%, yeah. So a lot of times before I get rid of, like if I get rid of shirts or something, or purses or something like that, I will clip out the hardware, and because I'm going to use that someday.
Zippers.
It's true. It's so true. I'm a scavenger. That is true. All right. So the first thing you're going to do when you make this tote is you're going to pick 8 charms, and you're going to sew them together in panels like this.
2x4.
Yeah. Then you're also going to need some of this iron-on fusible, and we have ironed this to this, and it just helps keep everything in place. So just iron it down, and then you're going to quilt these panels. And so when you quilt the panels, it's going to look like this.
Well, this is quilted and trimmed.
Yes. So so actually on this
But
panel
you
right
could really
here,
quilt this any way you wanted to. If you wanted to do like
Straight
a free
line
motion
across.
practice, this would be a great place to
it
practice.
would be a great place to practice.
And yeah, you can
Mine-
do straight line quilting.
I
you
did
can
straight
do-
line on these. And on this one particularly, we just did a 1/4 inch from all the seams. And
echo quilting.
super clean look. I love how this looks.
It's
All right.
beautiful.
And you're going to do a panel for the front and a panel for the back.
Okay.
Then you're going to grab the bottom piece. Now, however wide this piece is, however, like if you only use this many charms, that's how wide your bottom has to be also.
Okay.
And then we are going to put this on here. Now,
How do you decide how long it is? Because you need
Well,
it to go
yeah, it's,
around the bottom and up both sides. Do you just figure how much you want?
it's
or?
how much you want to show. And this is actually in the pattern, it says it's 12 inches. And so I actually cut these, I cut the bottoms
It's
of
cut
mine
exactly
12
12
inches. Yeah.
by the width, which is what, like,
Oh, by,
what
let me
is
see.
this?
Wait, I can do it right here.
Well, here it's
50 by, wait, 50,
150.
oh, 32 by 50. So,
17.
thank you.
Got
So
it.
much math, so much math. Can't do it. All right, so on this cork piece right here, we drew a line, and this line is just a 1/4 inch in, and it's kind of a fat quarter. And we did that because you don't turn this under. So normally I would sew it onto here like this and then flip it up so that it has a
Oh,
fold.
but that would be really bulky.
Yes, but with cork it's really bulky. So on this, what we're going to do is we're going to lay this on here, right like this, just like that, and we're going to flip it over.
Are we
And-
going to put any pins or wonder clips on it?
We're going to
Or
use a little glue stick.
Ah, we're going to glue it.
Yep.
That is fabulous.
Isn't that genius?
Yes.
All right, let me hang
You
on.
have glue right up here
Oh, I do.
on set.
Oh, there we go.
We
That's
have
right.
this little,
Okay.
the sew line glue pen.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my sew line glue pen, and I'm just going to put a row of glue on here like this. And I am not going to be stingy.
As much glue as you need, right?
As much glue as you need. And so then we're going to put this on here, and we're going to lay this so it comes right next to the line.
Oh,
And-
that's so smart.
And then we're just going to press it down so it stays on there so nice.
Okay.
Because then you just top stitch it. And so
Awesome.
I'm going to do this side before I add the other side because I don't want it to fall off.
Okay.
Can you move our modern bag?
I'm going to put it right here
Right?
or here.
All right.
I'm going to put it right over here.
Now I have to say that sewing through cork is like sewing through butter. It is pure pleasure. I can't even tell you how cool this was. All right, so I'm just sewing along. Now generally when you're top stitching, if you want your stitch to look a little bit more professional, of course you can use a fancy stitch or you can just lengthen it a little bit. And so I'm going to sew right along here.
So are you going kind of right down the middle or are you right on the edge?
I
are you going to do...
am like about 1/8 of an inch in.
Uh-huh.
And I actually really like a double edge on mine.
I was going to ask. I didn't know if you were
So-
going to do that.
So if you can do a double edge, it's one of those things, a double seam line, or you know what, you could use the double needles.
Oh, you could do that as
Which
well.
are very
which
cool.
would be very precise.
Yep, so I'm just going to come and sew right along the edge now. And hopefully my lines will look lovely and match up. I can see my first line isn't exactly straight,
That's okay.
but that's okay. All right. And see, I just think a double line looks
Yeah,
kind of
it
cool.
looks so great.
All right, so now let's attach our other side. Where's my glue
Oh,
stick?
sorry.
That's all right.
It's right there.
And then if you'll grab that other piece, we will
Right
put
up
some glue on
here.
here.
Does the glue ever like gum up your needle or anything like that? You
Not the
never
sew
had-
line. I've never had
No?
any trouble with the sew line
Cool.
doing that. So
That's-
line
that's
up your
great.
line, and then we're gonna,
Did you find that it was slippery at all? Did anything slide while you were
No.
sewing?
nothing.
That's so great, so brilliant. I love it.
Yeah, so it just works together really nice. Now let me turn this way. And let me make sure this is glued down here. This time I'm going to do the edge first.
Okay. And then go next to it.
And for that, what I do is I find a place visually that matches up on the foot of my sewing machine so that I'm always looking for my
Something to
cork to come
watch.
right on that center, the center of the outside toe.
Yeah, you've got to have something to watch so that you can stay in line, nice and straight.
Yep. I just had to look to make sure I was sewing so that I was making stitches.
Yeah, this wouldn't be a fun place to have your bobbin or your thread break.
No. All right, now let's go one more row. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the outside of my foot on that stitch line. All right.
And I would say if you wanted these seams to be wider, then maybe you mark your line wider so you have more fabric under there to stitch to.
100%. It can be anything you want. So you'll notice this one here looks pretty dang good. This one here, not quite as good. But here's the deal. You're never going to look at both sides of the purse at the same time, right?
Totally fine. No
Totally
big deal.
fine. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to fold this in half. And we're going to make sure that these edges are lined up.
Do you need some wonder clips
And we
for
might want to
that?
put a little clip on there. And I think we have some.
We have
right.
so many.
So I'm just going to use a wonder clip and I'm going to put it right here. And I'm going to sew these sides together. And I'm going to sew a little further in than a 1/4 of an inch because I want a nice seam to hold this together. And again, then reduce your stitch length so it's a little smaller because you don't want this part to come apart.
Then, yeah.
And I have clipped right here where the 2 cork sides meet so that
You do want that part to line up.
you do. All right, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to, right where my 2 corks come together, I'm going to put my little clip. And I'm going to start down the top here. All right, move my clip. Now, when you cut your lining is going to be the same size as your bag. So when you have your bag all the way open up, you'll just use that as your pattern and you'll cut it. What we're going to do right now is we are going to box the corners. And so when you box a corner, I put my hand up inside and I'm going to measure up from this seam. I'm going to measure up 2 inches and I'm going to put a pin right in it.
Okay, we've got some
We don't
right here.
generally pin cork, but this is going to be trimmed off. So let me actually measure. I was just guessing right there, but that's 2 inches.
2.5 up.
I'm going 2. Hang on, there we go. It doesn't want to go through the double, but it'll go through the single. All right. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get me a pen, and I'm going to draw a line. I'm up 2 inches right here. And I'm going to draw a line right across here. So the key to knowing how big to box your corners is that however far you come up, if I come up 2 inches, then it's going to go 2 inches out on either side. So that'll make it a 4-inch bottom. So let's go ahead and stitch this down. I'm going to take my pin out. I actually didn't need it. All right, we're going to do the same thing on the other side, like this. Put my hand in here and open it up. I like to...
What you're doing when you do that, though, is you're trying to line up the side of the bag with the middle of the bottom of the bag.
Yes.
So that you end up with this nice straight point, and then this makes a nice straight corner
That's
on the bottom.
exactly what I'm doing. Thank you. No, it's actually true, and I get speeding through things and forget everybody doesn't know, and it gets lost in the details. All right, so now I've drawn my line, and actually this looks a little wide to me, so maybe it's not exactly in the middle. Let me see what I have here.
not.
2, it's a little bit over.
Put these together.
because it should go exactly from the center. It should go a quarter of an inch, or I'm sorry, 2 inches from either side. So let me check it. There's 2, and there's 2. So that's good.
Okay.
Now we're going to sew across this. All right, now you can cut these ends off or you can leave them in there, whatever you prefer. And we're going to turn this out so you can see what it looks like.
Awesome.
And how easy that cork just makes it pretty ooh-ah. So here's
Yeah,
the box of our bottom box. All right.
Beautiful.
And there's our bag.
So pretty. Do you need the
Right?
lining real quick?
Yeah, so we'll do the lining. The lining is actually the same size as the bag, and you're going to do the same thing to the lining that you did to the bag. So we're going to fold.
It's a little easier because there's nothing to match up, no
Right.
points to worry
We're going to
about.
fold it in half. All right, I'm going to sew the sides while you get ready with the handles. And then I'm also going to box the corners on this one so that when we turn it inside out, it turns right. And so I'm putting my hand in there, making sure it lines up in the middle. And I'm going to put my ruler on here and make sure I'm sewing up 2 inches. You can draw the line. I'm just going to eyeball this. Pretty sure that's right. Let me just check.
Your
again.
eyeballing is usually pretty accurate, but
It
I get
is pretty-
really nervous about that. I want everything really, flattened out.
Well, and the bottom of my bag right here has a
has a fold
it has
in
a
it.
fold in it, and so I can match the seam to the fold. And
yeah.
then we're going to come up 2 inches. So let me again look at this and see if I'm up 2 inches. It looks like I need to come up just a little bit, and I will start there, and I will sew straight across.
I would always at least mark like little dots on each side or something.
Yeah, however you
I
want
just
to.
would because I'm more nervous.
I would
about...
be more nervous on the outside. The inside doesn't show to me.
That's true. That's true.
So I don't dye over the inside.
Okay.
But
I guess if there's a place where you can let it go, the inside would be it.
let it go.
Practice being a little less of a perfectionist.
Right? Oh, hang on now. This has got to fold out. It's got a little fold in there.
And you want to measure again, or are you
Nope. Yes, I
feeling
do.
confident?
No, I like to make a measurement. And I'm going to start right here. I'm going to come across. All right. So then, this is my lining here. And see my boxed corners. Pretty good. Pretty
Beautiful.
good. All right, so I'm going to leave this inside out.
All right.
And then I'm going to put my purse in here. So right sides together. And now we just have to do the handles.
Some handles, yes. So the handles are 4 inches wide. So I'll cut us a little strip.
And again, this is completely up to you. You can make, if you like wide handles, sometimes you can find a piece of webbing that would work
Oh,
great
yeah.
as a handle.
Yes.
Anything you want to do, but this is just if you want to use the fabric like we did.
And then, so in the handle, there's going to be a 1 inch strip of batting if you want it a little bit heavier.
Yeah, and I would use this iron
Like
or
what's left
press
over.
on. You know, you can use it what's left over.
Yeah.
So I'll cut you a little piece so you can just show.
So then what we do is we're going to fold it in half and press it so that we have a center line to line everything up on.
All right, let me move this stuff out of the way.
And that just gives us a good gauge so that everything gets centered on the handle. Because we're going to put our batting right in the middle, and then we're going to fold in, and in.
Let's just do a half a strip.
Okay, so it's not quite as long.
Right.
Oh, you're pinking shears.
No, sorry.
Perhaps,
That did not work for me.
Perhaps not.
I thought those were my regular scissors. All right. So then
So you'll
you
lay
would
your
do
batting down on the middle there.
on the strip. And then you're gonna fold this in to the center strip right here, like fold this into the batting and fold over, and you'll do the same on both sides, and you'll press this down. Let me see, let me press this one in here.
So we're going to iron this in half so that we get a nice center line.
Perfect. Let me move this, make sure we can get a good picture of this.
Yep. So that's nice and flat. Then we'll bring it open. We'll fold these to the middle
And press again.
and press again. Oh, I should have just kept it over here.
And then
This
we'll
is
fold
just a quick, easy way.
other
The other one
side.
goes right to the middle as well. And that gets pressed down, and then all of your, watch your fingers. Oh. All right.
Then what you do is you're going to slide your batting in here like
And,
this.
and just
Lay it
choose
on
a
one
It
side,
doesn't matter which side.
and then fold this in, and then this will come over the top. And then what you'll do is you'll do 2 rows of top stitching like this.
I would first enclose this side, because that'll just be the easiest, don't you think?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I would
Yeah.
do my first stitch right along this edge, and then I would do the outside edge.
Yeah, and I would always like repress it, especially if you have that adhesive
Oh yeah.
batting in there. That'll keep everything really secure. You can put pins down to keep everything from sliding. Pin
I
the
would
whole
just
thing.
fold it and go. Just
She'd
fold
fold
it
and go. I might pin or wonder clip.
And then remember though, on your handles is that totes are used for different things, and people have different arm lengths that they need, you know.
Right.
So you want to make sure that if it's going to be like a small handled tote, your handles are shorter, and if it's longer, make it so that it actually fits, you know, because you don't want to hold here, you want to hold here.
But
Yeah.
the bottom line is just make them both the same size.
Well, you do want to make them both the same size. That is true. All right, so we cut a little piece off here to put around the bottom of our handle. So you can see right here. Oh, good golly. I didn't think that was going to be so rough. You can see right here we've got these 2 pieces that are sewn around the bottom of our rings. And you want to make sure that you're going to sew
So
your...
those look like they're about 3 inches. Yeah.
And then on these ends, what I did was I just folded this under a tiny and then took it through here and folded it over like this. And I sewed across the edge, and then I just made a little X because you'll see on a lot of the handles that, you know, you buy a purse, you know, they'll have that little square sewn, and then they sew an X
And that's
across
to
it.
reinforce all the stitching and make it so that your handles don't break easily.
Right, and so I'm going to do this on this side, and I'm just going to sew across, and then I'm going to come up here, and I'll just sew my X is going to be little on this one. It should probably have been a little longer.
Now I know you're winging it because you just are so comfortable doing that, but there's measurements and stuff in the pattern.
Yes, there are. And then we're coming down
Details for
here.
those of us that need a little more information.
But basically, you're just going to fold it over
Yep.
and put it on there. And so this one, it's the same thing. Make sure that your folds go to the same side.
It doesn't have to, I don't think it has to be an X either. It could be 3 rows of stitching, or it could be a
100%.
couple of rows of zigzags, something that you think looks pretty. You could write,
Oh.
I'll write an N for Natalie.
There you go. Now make sure that the wrong side of both of these is on the same side.
Yep.
So
Fold them
I'm just
that
going
they're
to,
facing. So these 2 are on.
and then I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to sew across. All right. So those are our handles. Then at the bottom of the handles, you're going to put these 2 tags in because this is the part that goes into the purse. And these just need to be sewn across. They don't need, you don't want the edges under because this is the part that's going to be inside.
Right, and
when we
it's
sew.
good to tack them together ahead of time because then you don't have to worry about them slipping apart when you're sewing the
Yeah.
body to the lining with the handles.
100%. So I'm just going to sew these. And really, I'm just tacking them together at the bottom like this. Nothing fancy.
Nope.
All right. Now what we're going to do,
2 sets.
yep, so we'll take the front
you-
set right here.
How do you make sure that
They match up.
they match up, but also that your insides are facing the right way and you don't get a twist in it and you don't have like one backwards?
This is going to shock you. I measure. All right, so I'm going to come over here. Where's my little ruler, my little green ruler?
It was up here.
Oh, you
Did I
must have-
knock it down? I've got this one. Will
Okay,
this work?
that'll work.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to decide how far in I want my handles. Again, that's personal preference. And Natalie, I'm going to need a couple of needles. Oops.
Pins? Will these ones
Pins.
work, or they're kind of small?
No, yeah, no, that's fine. So what I want to do is I just want to put these, I want to put it in here so that I have an accurate distance from the side. And actually
You go 4.
this measurement is probably also in the pattern
I bet.
because you just want them to put the same distance.
Determine, measure, and pin. Our small bag has the handles placed 1 inch from the side seams. Our large bag has them 5.5.
Okay, well, I'm going to do it 4.
So you can do whatever you want because it really is what you're comfortable with, but we did give you our measurements so
Right.
that you would have some starting point.
So now what we want to do on this is we want to make sure that our inside fold is to the lining side of the bag. So we're going to stick this down in here like this
Okay.
and leave this one out. So this one, my inside fold is to the lining side. And I'm just going to undo this pin and I'm going to pin it right here, a 4. This one right here. And my buckle is coming up. So you want that down. And I want that in here. Make sure that that's over there all the way.
Do you want wonder clips instead of pins?
You know, a wonder clip would work
I
just
actually
great.
have a couple right here.
Awesome. All right, so then I'm finding the other side of my thing, and you want to make sure that your handle doesn't have a twist in it and that your inside is still going toward the lining.
Okay.
And then I'm going to come over here.
Do you want me to wonder clip that?
Yeah. These wonder clips, we wonder what we did without
They're
them.
actually really handy.
Especially in this case for a bag.
When you have a lot of layers to go through, it's easier than pinning.
Well, especially if
And
you
they-
can't pin,
They
you
come,
know.
off and on pretty easily as well. So like if you need to reposition something or...
I'm just getting these loose threads. Just
Cool.
ripping them off right
That's
there.
cool, I get it.
All right, so we're going to go in here and we'll match this up to the other side and put a little clip right here.
Doesn't it go in between the lining and the...
Oh, yes, it does. Natalie,
Aren't Aren't you glad I'm here?
I'm so glad you did that. Yes. All right, so this one, again, this seam goes toward the lining. This is going to come here. This is going to come here. We're going to wonder clip it.
I noticed on this one that it looks like you just lined it up right with that seam on
And
the outside. And that probably helps make it look really nice if they both line up with seams on the exterior of the bag.
I agree.
What do you think?
I agree. So let's take a look and see.
It looks good.
So this, like on the edge of the seam or in the middle of the seam?
Wherever you had it placed that is right, I mean, it looked like
Let's do it in the
lined up.
middle. Let's do it in the middle.
Okay.
And let me look at these over here to make sure they're also in the same place. Oh, they're pretty dang close, aren't they?
Yeah, they're really close, so I thought that would be...
All right, so where our charms
Thinking
come
on the
together, we are just using that as our measurement. We wouldn't have even had to measure. So now that we have our handles all on here, we're ready to stitch the top close. We're going to leave an opening, and then we're going to sew all the way around it, and we're going to hit these handles really good. Make sure your side seams line up, and if your fabric
Some more wonder clips there.
is a little off over here, just let it fit over there.
I can get them.
And I'm going to sew, you can do this however you want. Because I have a table on mine, I generally just lay mine and just sew it around. And so, or you can remove your table and you can slide it under the arm of your sewing machine. So I'm going to lay mine here and I'm going to sew on the inside. And I'm actually going to start from right here where this is clipped together over here. I'm going to come out just a little bit. I'm sewing 1/2 inch in so I have plenty of room. And I'm going to come to my handle, and when I get to my handle, you can hear the sound of the needle changes. And I'm going to go back over it and come back again. So that handle is now really in there really nicely. So then I'm going to come around here. So now I'm to the next seam line, and I'm going to come around that corner and just keep going. And back and forth over that handle.
That gives it a lot of good reinforcement.
Yes. My handle is right there. Try to keep this all together nice and flat. take off this little clip. And then I'm going to come in
You're
here.
almost back to the beginning, right? So you're just
I am.
back stitching around the
Yep.
opening so it doesn't pull apart too much.
That's exactly what I'm doing. And then we're just going to pull this bag through. And we're going to start with the heavier part, which is the cork.
We call this birthing the bag, right?
Bag birthing. You heard it here.
Sorry.
All right, so here comes our bag. And here's our lining. And then what we're going to do is we're going to push this lining back in there.
Yep.
Get back in there. And then we can come around here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to top stitch the edge of this
Do you want
so
to
that it
press
folds in. So I do like to press it. I like to help myself as much as I can when I am doing this part, because this is the part that makes it look really professional.
Yes.
So if you will just press that, and it wants to fold up because the seam is thicker. So let's press
to
it,
kind of
and let's put some of those
Push
little,
it into place, right?
and we can put some of those little wonder clips on there too.
And pull the handles up. And push that lining down.
It takes a mother and daughter team
To make a bag.
to make a bag. No,
I
that's
mean,
not true.
Not always.
I have made many
we
bags
can make
in my
our
day.
own bags. As have I.
Just roll it up and do the side. There we go.
Maybe we should turn this around.
We can do however it's easiest for you.
Well, I'm thinking if we go this way, we're really pushing that down.
You want to put a clip on it?
And then this part we have to
We have to press that in.
press it in.
Whoop.
But what I was thinking is if we had it facing this way, you'll be able to see it a little better from the camera
Oh,
angle.
that's true. That's true. Good point.
And then we can go along the edge and put those back in as soon as I'm done pressing it. Keep that nice and flat. Do you want me to go ahead and do these sides?
I think I can stitch
You think
down.
you got it now?
I mean, if you want to go ahead and press them, it's always helpful to take a little extra time and do that.
If your
I'm
iron
always
hits
like
the
a
metal,
horse to
don't
water.
touch it.
You what?
If the iron hits the metal, just don't touch it
Just
for a
don't
minute.
touch it
Let
for
it
a
cool
minute.
down because it'll burn you.
It will burn.
So we're just kind of hitting it with the iron to give it a little bit of straightness, flatness, so it's easier.
All right.
Okay, I think it's ready for top stitching.
Okay, I'm going to start from
Ready
the
as
side.
it'll ever be, I guess.
And I'm going to come just beyond my clip. And I am not going to back stitch because I'm going to sew over that. And so right here, I'm just going to sew down. And again, I catch my little purse handle in there. And this is the front of my bag where I left the hole for stitching, and I'm just going to top stitch right across it so that it closes it now. We don't have to do any hand sewing unless we want to. Coming around the bend over here. Little thread right there. Another little clip.
If you wanted to put like a button closure, you know, one of those things, that loop would probably go in this stage as well, right?
Oh,
Or
yeah.
no, the earlier stage.
It would go in as soon as you finished making the top.
When you're putting your handles in with your lining.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I like a little button
Well, I like a zipper, so because I'm a dumper, you know,
yeah.
I tend to pick up my purse from the bottom.
The next version might have a zipper.
Might update to a zipper. But there is our little bag, just like that.
So cute. I love it.
But guess what we want on this cute cork bottom bag? Look how cute that cork bottom is.
I love it so much.
We want a tassel though, don't we?
Of course.
Of course.
You've got to have a little bag bling.
Yeah, I have to show you how cute these tassels are and how easy they are. So,
what was it that you needed?
well, there was a little tassel piece that was in that little bag.
Oh, it's up here.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. So this comes in a little kit.
Mm-hmm. And you get a little tassel, and it has a tiny little screw in here.
Okay.
And what we're going to do is we're going to take a charm like this, and we're going to cut it with pinking shears.
Oh, so cool.
So that so that it. I just want to unwrinkle it a bit.
So
I'm
you
not
can
sure
see
why
it?
that is like driving me a little bit crazy, but it looks very wrinkly.
I can.
And you're just going to
can
take
tell.
your charm like this, and you're going to cut. Oh wait, that's my regular. Where's my pinking shears? Oh, there they are. And we even have pinking rotary blades. So you want to leave.
We do.
You want to leave about a ½ an inch from the top, and you just want to go up, and you just want to cut and cut. And you want to do that over and over again. And nobody's going to measure to make sure they're exact.
Nope, they're tassels after all. Okay.
You know,
that-
so you'll
is
do
that
that
better?
to all of them.
Is that better for you?
And then you get this little piece. Yes, much better. You'll get this little piece like this. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to roll this. And Natalie, we have some E6000 glue. Now you can get this at, actually that's Gorilla Glue.
Gorilla Glue,
You can use-
E6000.
yeah.
Some kind of glue that's going to be really solid.
Yes. And you're going to roll this really tightly in a little roll. Such a tiny little roll. And then we're going to, once this is all rolled like this,
You ready for the glue? Is it glue
the,
time?
the glue goes in here. You're going to put some glue in there.
Okay.
And I'm finished
I'm gonna
rolling
need
it.
pliers to open it. It's really tight. I got it, finally.
All right, we're going to put some glue in here.
Okay. Just how much? Like a little bit?
Yeah, just a little squirt.
Is that good, or
Yeah,
do
you
you
want
need
some
more?
on the edges, or you can put on the edges of here too.
Okay.
We're kind
There
of
we go.
glue is kind of dangerous. So then when you put it in, the way you folded it up is the way you want to twist it. So you're going to put this
So
in.
like roll with it?
Yeah, and then you're just going to put this in, and you're going to let this just sit there and dry.
Okay.
And then there's a tiny little screw right here, and it goes in this hole, and it will definitely, if the glue doesn't hold it, the little screw will.
That
and
is
then,
so much easier than I thought. I've never even known how to make a tassel before.
woo, now you can tassel all your bags.
Oh, so many tassels are going to be happening.
So, so many tassels, so many tassels. Yeah, well, let's just not talk about those tassels anymore. So let me get you my bag right here.
It looks like this one
Natalie,
has 2 colors.
it has two. It has 2 pieces of fabric, definitely.
That's so cool.
So we could have put this one in and this one in and rolled them together, and they will still fit in here easily. And you can see the little screw right there.
It'd be fun to do leather tassels
Oh,
or
gosh, yeah.
yarn tassels.
Yeah, anything. The tassel is definitely
So dang cute.
it just makes it so cute, right?
Yes.
So
I
now
love it.
we have modernized the original Charm Pack Tote.
So
brought it up.
fun.
We upgraded it with the Sallie Tomato
And totally
cork
learned how to make a tassel.
and learned how to make a tassel.
It's so cute.
We're so glad we're able to help this bag come into the, the 20th century. So we hope you enjoyed this tutorial from the Missouri Star Quilt Company. Hi everybody, it's Jenny from the Missouri Star Quilt Company. We hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you aren't already part of the Missouri Star Quilt Company family, be sure to subscribe so you won't miss a thing. And if you click that bell, it'll notify you every time a new tutorial comes out. See you next Friday.